Welcome to the Division I National Semifinal Game 2 Postgame Press Conference featuring the South Carolina Gamecocks. We'll hear an opening statement from Coach Staley and follow up with questions for the student athletes. The student athletes will then be dismissed, and we'll open up those questions for Coach Staley.
Congratulations to Iowa. Played a tough game. Man, I just think Dallas put on a good show when it comes to the Final Four. Special shout out to the police officers who did a great job moving us around the city.
We'll now open it up for questions for the student athletes. We're going to start with Nancy. And that'll be to your right, ladies.
Nancy Armour, USA Today. Aaliyah, what were they doing to you that maybe that you haven't seen other teams do before? And you could come back for a fifth year because of COVID, and I'm just wondering what your plans are going to be for next year.
Yeah, I'll start with that one. Haven't decided as yet. And I don't really think they were doing anything different. I think, they were just being very physical. I think part of that, I feel like every time teams get ready to play us, there's always that agenda of we are so physical, we can take all the aggression. And so I think that was being let go a lot. But I don't think it was anything different. I think it was just a very physical game.
Our next question is going to be in the back corner to the left, ladies.
Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. Aaliyah, obviously this is really disappointing and frustrating to end the season like this, but you do have an opportunity to write a different ending because you do have a fifth year. When you said just now that you hadn't decided, did this game put that in the balance? Like, if you had won another title, were you gone for sure, or had you not actually decided?
This decision is a big decision. I was going to have to really write down the pros and the cons of everything, and so whether we won or not, it would still be something that I would have to consider.
Ladies, we're going to go to our far right and the front row, please.
Jeremiah Holloway with the state. Aaliyah, that last three that Clark took, she misses it. You guys weren't able to corral the rebound. Was that more of a matter of kind of positioning than anything else on that play?
It was a long shot and a long rebound. Those can sometimes be really hard just based off how hard it came off the backboard, and that shot ricocheted off the backboard, and it was just really high, and so we just weren't in the position to get it.
We're going to take a question to our left in the front row, please.
Yeah, Jacob Phillips, Daily Gamecock. Raven, for you, this was your first Final Four game that you've been able to play in. Just what was that experience like for you?
It was good just being out there, but we didn't come out with the outcome. I really want to win for the seniors, but yeah, I have more years to come, so we're definitely going to be back.
Go ahead, Howard, to your right.
Howard Magdal at the Next. Aaliyah and Raven, one for each of you. Raven, you have saved your biggest games this year for the biggest opponents. Tonight, LSU and UConn are your three double-figure games. You can just talk about sort of what you've brought to those big matchups. And Aaliyah, if you could talk a little bit about what you see out of Raven in those moments.
Yeah, I'll start with Aaliyah in the freshie class. The way they just talk to me, the way they just show me what leadership is, and they show me what pro habits is every day. So I definitely cherish that every day. And Aaliyah just being in my ear, it gives me a lot of confidence. And also Coach Staley, it's not a day Coach Staley's not in my ear, and she also helped me with my confidence.
Yeah, after the game, I told Raven, I said, this is your team. You've been in the system for 2 years now. Next year coming up, people are going to look to you for that leadership role. So, just allowing her to, giving her that guidance of how to do it. I think this year she's been really listening to us, and you can see that during the games. And for her big games, I think Raven's just always ready. She does a great job of trying to pass the ball, making other people open, making them feel included. But tonight, I think she stepped up. She hit some really big threes for us, did a great job running the point position when Coach had her in. And so I just think she just steps up. That's just who she is. And next year is going to be really exciting when she's in that full role and she's really leading the team.
We have another question to our right, ladies.
Jen Hadfield with the Next. For both of you, that moment the buzzer goes off, what's going through your head? And then Aaliyah, I think I saw from where I was sitting you kind of consoling Zaya or talking to her post-game, if you are comfortable sharing kind of what you told her or what that moment was like for you as well.
Yeah, you want to go first or me? When that buzzer went off, it was kind of just like an end of an era, it feels like. We had a special group, and so that's kind of just what it felt like. And, Zaya competed for 40 minutes. She played every single minute of this game. She gave it her all, and I just told her, nothing, you can't you can't hang your head low because you did really good. You know, like you kept us in this game, went out with foul trouble. Zai just kept attacking. She hit big shots. And, you know, she worked really hard. 4 years went by really fast, but I told her no matter what she does next, she's ready for it. You know, God has equipped her and she's ready.
We're going to take a question from our virtual. David, you are permitted now to talk.
David Melandro of Sports Talk Philadelphia. This is for Aaliyah. This game tonight marked the last 2 players of the year. Do you think you guys gained more fans?
I mean, I hope I gained some fans. But, I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, I think this game just grew women's basketball. I bet a lot of people were watching. There were a lot of people in the crowds. You could hear Iowa fans and our fans. Everybody was just super excited for this game. I think it was a great game. So, but, I mean, I hope so.
And to our front and the right.
Alan Cole, GamecockScoop.com. For either of you, now that it's over, now that you have the whole kind of season behind you, what are you going to remember most about this year and playing with this particular team with the whole thing kind of in the rearview mirror?
I mean, I'm going to remember a fun year. I mean, I think we had so many great experiences. Just winning, how many games was that? 36 games. Like, I feel like that's unbelievable. You know, Coach told us in the locker room, she was like, this is rare. You know, like teams can't say they did that. And even though this didn't end the way we wanted it to, those 36 games prior to this was really good.
Staying to our right.
Maria McElwain, Philadelphia Inquirer. This is for both of you guys. How has Coach Staley and her background and her philosophies, how has that shaped you guys as players and as people? And how will you take that forward?
Yeah, well, in my eyes, I don't want to make a mistake when Coach Staley's coaching, so I always look at her. I'm like, oh Lord. So it's like she scares me, honestly, because I want to be so perfect to her. But honestly, Coach, you know, you can't be perfect. Coach, you know, she always say that, you know, just be yourself. And like it's things that she asks me in practice, and I be like, I don't know, and I actually be thinking to myself like, why would she ask me that, stuff like that. So honestly, you know, I'm glad that I'm playing under her because I'm definitely going to develop really well under her.
Playing under Coach Staley, I mean, she's just helped me with my confidence a lot, you know. She's just always been like that second mom, no matter what. You guys are lucky here. You get to see me cry. I was planning not to cry.
No pictures, please.
Yeah, because they like to run wild with those. I better not see one. But honestly, she's just been a great, like a second mom. And on the court, she just motivates you, you know? She always pushes you to be the best person that you can be. You don't have to be perfect, even though Raven, you don't have to be perfect. You know, she knows that you make mistakes, but I think she's just like, she just helps you every step of the way. She asks you questions if you don't know. She goes into more detail. She wants to see you succeed. So, yeah. Seriously, no pictures.
To our right, Michelle, go ahead.
Michelle Smith from the Next. Aaliyah, to come into this game unbeaten, do you think that added any pressure or anything extra in the fact that you guys hadn't lost a game this season and had a 42-game winning streak? Does that just add anything when you come into this atmosphere?
I mean, I think the only pressure is just, you know, you want to go to a national championship game. You want to compete for that. I mean, we were undefeated, but that we kind of had to push that to the back burner because, just like you said, we're in the season where you don't want to lose, you know? And so we weren't really focused on, our streak or how long we've been undefeated. It was really just about, well, we want to compete to go to the next step. Oh, thanks so much.
Take a question to our left.
Jerry Longman, the New York Times. Aaliyah, you guys did many of the things you always do. You dominated the bench, the offensive rebounding. Where did you see the difference was?
Where did I see the difference? I think just some of our shots didn't fall tonight. I feel like sometimes we were able to put them on the free throw line, and that really wasn't going both ways. But, I mean, our shots just didn't really fall.
We have another virtual question. We'll go to Gabrielle Lewis. Gabrielle, your line is open, and now you are permitted to talk.
Gabrielle Lewis, the Next. Just reflecting on the season, you know, what is the biggest thing that each of y'all learned this season?
You want to go first?
Yeah, leadership role, definitely from the freshie class. The leadership role, like I said, they always show me what pro habits were, and they just show me every day what it's like to be a pro. And the way they just talk to us younger players and motivated us, I really cherish that. So I'm definitely going to take pride in that.
And for me, definitely turning the page a lot quicker. Don't hang my head too low on something specific. Just turn the page and get to the next thing.
Looks like we have one final question virtually. We'll go back to David. David, I'm going to unmute your line again, and please proceed.
Can both of you guys talk about what it was like to be coached by Dawn Staley?
Can we start with Raven?
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to be, like, in her eyes, I wanted to be perfect. Like, I never wanted to make a mistake, but I'm learning her more and more. Like, she's learning me more and more. Like I said, she was asking me questions, and I always thought, like, why did she ask me this? But, I want to be like her one day. I'll look up to her, honestly. Little does she know. So I'm definitely going to, I'm going to, talk to Coach and watch film definitely on this game so I can learn. And like I said, we're going to be back.
I've just learned to turn the page, compete for 40 minutes, and just continue to be a great teammate. Coach, do you think I became a better passer this year? All right. That was my goal.
Kyrie, like,
that was good.
Thank you so much, ladies. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
good job, y'all.
At this time, we'll open up for questions for Coach Staley.
So we just, Maggie Hendricks, Bally Sports, sorry. We just heard Aaliyah talk so much about her teammates through this entire thing. What does that say about not just the person she is on the court, but off it too?
I mean, she's a complete person. Like, she's a great human being. And you could tell that she's got great parenting and a great foundation that she shares herself. Like, she's a sacrificer. She's a great friend. She's a great teammate. She is somebody that you want to build your program around because you know it's safe. And she's always going to make the right decision for our team, even if it is a detriment to her personally.
Coach to our left. To our right. Nancy, go ahead.
Dawn, Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. If Aaliyah does ask you for your opinion about what she should do next year, what will you tell her? And if this was her last game in South Carolina, can you describe what she has meant to your program?
I'd tell her to go. I mean, there are defenses that are played against her that won't allow her to play her game. And then it's hard to officiate that. So I would tell her to go. She's great. I mean, she's ready. She's ready to see single coverage. She's ready to make the next step to the league. I mean, she's meant everything to our program. She has been the cornerstone of our program for the past 4 years. She elevated us. She raised the standard of how to approach basketball. She's never had a bad day. She's never come into practice sulking. She's always just the person that you saw. So very, very consistent. And I slept very well knowing she was with our program. And I'll sleep well knowing that she's okay and she will definitely make her mark at the next level.
We're going to stay to our right in the front row, please.
Michael Robertson, hoopfeed.com, and the African American athlete. So, Coach, we talked earlier when you guys played Stanford, and Aaliyah was dealing with foul trouble, and I asked, did you have to say anything to her? So, in this case, with 0 points at halftime, did you have to say anything to her to get her going?
No, I mean she knows how to handle foul trouble. She knows what needs to get done. But again, it's just hard to, it's hard for her to move. I think it's hard to officiate the way the game was played. It's just hard to officiate. And when she's 2 for 9, 2 fouls in the first couple of minutes of the first quarter, it's hard. I mean, she's a big part of what we do.
We're going to go to our left, Coach.
Left.
Coach, AJ Jones, BS3 TV, KYLK Radio out of Houston. A lot of times, other coaches, your colleagues, have sat in that spot and talked about you all being bullies. What's the truth about your team?
The truth about our team, okay? It's a good question, okay? We're not bar fighters. We're not thugs. We're not monkeys. We're not street fighters. This team exemplifies how you need to approach basketball on the court and off the court. And I do think that that's sometimes brought into the game, and it hurts. Okay. And I do think that some of I'm gonna say it because I said I was gonna say it, whether we lost or whether we won. Some of the people in the media, when you're gathering in public, you're saying things about our team, and you're being heard, and it's being brought back to me. Okay? And these are the people that write nationally for our sport. So you can not like our team, okay? You can not like me, but when you say things that you probably should be saying in your home, on the phone, or texting out in public, and you're being heard, and you are a national writer for our sport, it just confirms what we already know. So watch what you say when you're in public and you're talking about my team in particular. Just watch what you say about our team, because it's wrong. You got young lives who are really, if you really knew them, like you really want to know other players that represent this game, you would think differently. So don't judge us by the color of our skin, okay? Judge us by how we approach the game. And you may not like how we play the game, may not like it. That's the way we play. That's the way I coach. I'm not changing. We found success in it. And maybe some days, like today, we end up on the losing side of the stick. But guess what? We live to see another day. We live to see to come back next year and try to do this again. Because I'm not changing. I'm not changing. But I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Because I do have friends in the media, whether you believe it or not. I do have some friends in the media. So for those of you who were at whatever event you were at that was nearby this arena yesterday, you were heard. You were overheard talking about our team. So,
Coach, we're going to take a question from the right-hand side. Howard, go ahead.
Hey, Dawn. Howard Magdal at the Next. To talk about Raven a little bit, and just, I know when we talked after UConn, it was a time where she stepped forward. I wonder whether you think her ability to do that then helped her prepare for what she did tonight, and just generally speaking, how you see her as a potential leader for this team going forward.
Raven's our future. I mean, Raven has a bright future. She's got some great instincts as a point guard. And she just mentioned, I ask her sometimes why. Why did you do that? And I ask why because I like to know her process. I like to know what she's thinking, and it helps me teach her a little bit better. She doesn't know, sometimes she doesn't know why, because she's got really, really, really good instincts. So when she's able to keep those instincts the way they are, but also just be a little bit more patient about seeing other options, she's gonna be a terrific point guard. So she's a pro in the making, and I'm super proud that she's on our team and she's gonna represent our team and our university.
That back right-hand corner, Coach.
Thank you very much. Dawn, you talked the other day a lot about your faith. So in this moment, I want to ask, what is it that you would say to the kids back in South Carolina about, I've heard you say many times, what God has for you is for you, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to them about overcoming disappointments like this to use that setback as a setup for what's ahead in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't give honor to God when we win. Obviously, we want to win all the games. He's the reason for all seasons. It's not harvest time yet. It's not harvest time. So I take the good with the bad. Like I'm a sore loser, but I'm a gracious loser. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Iowa had a terrific game plan, and we didn't get it done. There were opportunities. There were 3 turnovers we had in a row that were somewhat of a game changer for us, that if we had them back, we could probably open up a lead that would have put us over the top, but wasn't in the cards. It was, we did that to other teams and we ended up winning. So we got to take it, we got to take the good with the bad. I'm never going to turn my back on the game of basketball. It's just giving too much to me. I'm still favored. Still favored.
Coach, we're going to take a question on the backhand side. Lindsay, go ahead.
Dawn, Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. Can you talk a little bit about Caitlin? Obviously you watched a ton of film of her to prep for this game. Was she better than you anticipated in person?
No, she was on point. I mean, she was everything that we saw on film. She was everything, like assists, points, turnovers, all of them. I mean, I think she ran the gamut of who she is as a player, and she threaded the needle. I mean, I thought I thought she had a great connection with her, and if we could have probably not allow her to, Sonano have a little less opportunities, it could have flipped the other way. I think she was the one that put him over the top with her contributions, because we had everybody else in check.
We're going to go to our right with Michelle. Go ahead.
Don Michelle Smith. A lot of people tonight that I know told me they were watching this game who don't watch women's basketball a lot. You guys didn't come out on the end that you wanted, but what do you hope you guys showed the country and people who maybe were watching women's basketball who don't watch it a lot tonight?
I hope they saw, some individual performances that will bring them back. I hope they saw, the grittiness of a team that was undefeated, and I hope they want to learn a lot more about not just us. I mean, LSU and what Kim Mulkey has done this season and getting to a national championship game. I mean, there was a lot. Virginia Tech and Kenny Brooks and his first time being in the Final Four, and then just the entire tournament. We didn't have all number 1 seeds here, and I hope they ask why. And then they'll find out that we had some incredible, exciting games that led to not everyone number 1 seed being here.
Coach, we're going to take a call. Excuse me. We're going to take a question from the virtual. David, your line's unmuted and you are permitted to talk.
David Melandra of Sports Talk Philadelphia. Coach, how do you think your players handled the pressure of going undefeated all the way up to tonight, and then the performance you guys showed to everybody tonight?
Yeah, I don't think we felt pressure, to win the game. I thought we approached it. It felt like any other game. We just didn't perform. We didn't make more plays than we needed to make, especially down the stretch, and that hasn't been us all season long. But I never, I don't think our players felt pressure, any other pressure besides wanting to win another basketball game.
We'll take a question on our back right.
Hey, Emily Adams at the Greenville News. To have a group of players who have experienced losing so rarely, does it change kind of how you have to coach them through a loss compared to maybe some of those earlier teams you had in your tenure at South Carolina?
Well, I mean, this is kind of unique because 7 of them have two of the 7, the decision's made for them. 5 out of 7 of our seniors and, graduate assistants, they have a decision to make. So it's less about this loss and more about, what's next and making a decision on what's next for them. But the returners, I mean, they got to get us back here. This is fun to come to the Final Four as a participant. It's fun. It's fun. I don't like coming other than coming as a participant. And I didn't really have to think about that for 3 years. So let's hope we can get back and, hope the loss felt it deeply and they'll work hard to get back here.
We have a question in our far back on the left-hand side, Coach.
Maya Peterson, W Slam. So, Coach, I was here when you were last here in Dallas. I wanted to know first, does it feel different when you walked in to see how much women's basketball has changed? And in that time, you've been able to redefine culture for women's basketball and for your team. How do you keep them motivated for the upcoming year?
I mean, to win a national championship is always an incredible goal. And it's cool just trying to get a team, a new team, and what makes that team unique about working hard and getting back to this place. And so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, we're not going to have the same team. We're going to have a different team that have different characteristics, that have different players. They're going to be put in positions that will fill a void that's going to be left by some of our seniors. So I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Coach, we have a question on your right.
Hi, Maria McElwain, Philadelphia Inquirer. So you mentioned earlier your philosophy in coaching and leading women. How much of that is informed by growing up in North Philly, playing in the developmental basketball league and in the pub league?
I mean, it's my foundation. I grew up in the projects in North Philly, and I mean, you pretty much had to fight for everything, every single thing, and I don't really take anything for granted. I don't really like handouts, so everything that we do, we have to work for, and that is the mentality that I try to instill in our players, and to be disciplined in that. And I had a mother who was a disciplinarian, so I don't know any other way besides just doing things the right way and doing things the way she wanted things done. And I'm probably a little more lenient than my mom with our players because I want to meet them where they are and help them go where their hearts desire to go.
And Coach, we're going to take our last question on your left-hand side, please.
Phil Kornblut, Sports Talk Media Network in South Carolina. Just a question about the defensive strategy on Caitlin. What was it that you guys were trying to do? And in the game, did you ever consider anything like maybe double teaming her to get the ball out of her hands or anything just to change things up with her?
Yeah, I mean, she was just so well equipped with passing the basketball. I thought we had a couple of miscommunications. And then when you're playing a player like Caitlin, you just kind of lose your spacing out there, and you lose who's good where. Like Sanano, anytime she was at the high post, we didn't want to play her at the high post. We wanted to clog the middle up a little bit and beat her to the spot of rolling deep on us. We found ourselves a little high on that at times. At the end of the game, we were going to trap the ball screen, but they didn't come off a ball screen. So, I mean, we put a lot of different people on her. I thought we tried to tire her out a little bit for 4 quarters by having our point guards pressure her. And I thought she tired out just a little bit, but not enough to give us an edge.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you all.